Hi guys, it's Rabina. In my last video, we had a hurricane, so there was that too. That's not what we're here for today. Today, I thought I would take you guys back to tell you a little bit about myself. I haven't done one of those videos where I really talk about, how I came to America. Did you guys even know that I, was not born in America or like originally American, if you can even say that? Is anybody really originally American? Except for the Native Americans. But I thought I would do that today. I thought I would just share my story of how my family came to the US. And if you've seen any of my funny Liberian videos, then you would know that yes, our family is from Liberia. Any of my funny African African parents say. If you need just a good laugh, check out one of those videos because we've made 4 of them so far on our channel. So check out those videos. They're hilarious. We think they're hilarious. You might just think they're lame, but give them a look anyway because they are less than 5-minute videos. So you can finish that one real fast. All right, so I'll tell you my story. When I was born in Liberia, West Africa. And when I was born, it was not a good time. Like our country was in civil war at that time, and we had to move from Liberia to Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, which is right below Liberia. If you're trying to figure it out in your mind, like where stuff is, it's the country right below Liberia. We moved there and we lived at a refugee camp in I think my mom told me it was 1990 or 1989. So I kind of spent the first 3 years of my life in Liberia, and then 3 years or 2 years of my life in the Ivory Coast. And from the Ivory Coast, from living at a refugee camp, then my family immigrated and came to the US. See, my grandfather was a very, very smart man. His name was Henry, and that's who our son is named after. He had it in his mind to send one of his oldest kids, who he thought would excel in school. He had it in his mind to send one of his kids to America to go to school. And so that was my uncle. My uncle was sent here first. And then my uncle sent for, after years of being in the US, going through school, getting married, then he sent for my grandparents, Henry and Annie, to live with him in the US. And we started out living in Tennessee. That's where we settled. And actually, fun fact, the size of Liberia, like just land mass, just per geography, is about the same size land mass as Tennessee. So how cool is that? Like our country that we moved from, it's about the same size of the state in America that we ended up living. And so my uncle and my grandparents were here in the US, and slowly through the 90s, they started bringing their kids, my grandparents' kids, and all of the grandkids and the husbands and the wives, they started bringing all of them from Liberia to the US to live in Tennessee. And we had this very good program that I think it's no longer in existence, but it was called Bridge Refugee. And what Bridge Refugees did, what the program did, is it had church sponsors refugee groups, refugees who were in war-torn countries or just like bad parts of the world, to try and get them out and bridge them to somewhere safe, somewhere in America, somewhere more stable. And so that's the program that we came to the US on. Thank God for that program, that they had it at that time, because it really, it really saved our family. It was what brought all of us here to the US. And when we came to the US, in our group of refugees that came, it was my mom, myself, I was 6, and then my baby sister, she was only 6 months old, and my mom had her, she was a preemie. And to think of us being like at a refugee camp, you know, where it's not like, you know, to have a preemie, I think mom probably, the stress of being in this war environment and not knowing, you know, what's going to happen next with your family and with your kids, that probably sent her into preterm labor while my sister was a preemie. But I say that because when we came to the U.S., when my mom took my younger sister to the doctor, my mom felt like the doctors were fussing at her for my younger sister Conweety being small or being underweight, but we really couldn't do anything about it. You know, mom didn't have, we were at a refugee camp. It's not like we were at Disney World. Anyway, we came to the U.S. in '92, and in our group was my mom, myself, my younger sister, I came with 3 older cousins, 2 boys and a girl, my mom's baby sister, and her son. So that was our big group that came all at one time, and we went to Northeast Tennessee where my grandparents were living and my uncle. And just like slowly through the 90s, my grandparents would send for more of their kids and their grandkids and the husbands and the wives, and until all of us ended up in Northeast Tennessee. And now fast forward to this day, we're all over the U.S. I have a cousin who's actually back in Liberia doing some really good things there with ministry, with education. I have a few cousins, actually, now that I think about it. I have one cousin who's a pastor, and he's back there in Liberia. So everyone's doing really well. But I remember when we first came to America, we flew to New York City, and it's just like in the movies when you see immigrants coming to America. It was like the typical way that you enter the most iconic way to enter the U.S. through New York City, where you're flying in and you see the Statue of Liberty, and you're just like, I've made it. I have found a place of peace. Like, I have found this place is going to be my Beulah land or my Cana. You know, it's just going to be so wonderful, and I'm going to have peace, and I'm not going to have to struggle, and I'm not going to have to worry about, you know, bullets flying past me or being in a war zone, you know, every day and have to struggle to find food or clothes or anything like that. So it was very beautiful. Even though I was only 6 years old, I remember the feeling. I don't really remember the memory of what I saw, but I remember the way how I felt. And I also remember when we came to the airport in New York City, you know, after seeing the Statue of Liberty and flying in and landing and seeing all these nice white American faces. I don't think I'd ever seen white people before, and so that was new too. I remember that at the airport we had deli sandwiches. I'll have to ask my mom about this, but I have a very distinct memory of having deli sandwiches and remembering thinking that, oh, Americans love cheese because everything had cheese on it. You know, all the sandwiches had cheese. It was just like meats and cheeses and breads. So that was a good memory too. Yeah, and then from there, I think we probably flew to Atlanta, and then from Atlanta to the Tri-Cities. And that was really special too, because I came as a 6-year-old, and I knew that I had grandparents, and I think, like, if I can think in my mind, I think I can remember the way how they made me feel, or like glimpses of memories of them being in Liberia. But a lot of that stuff, a lot of my memories from 6 years old and back, it's very blurry. It's like mostly washed out, and I don't know, maybe it's just because we were in a place of peace for those memories to stick. You know, maybe, you know, God has his reasons for memories to be forgotten, because maybe altogether they weren't good memories for you to keep with you. So I have a lot of feelings of like love and joy and like being around certain people, how they make me feel. in my family, and I have, you know, those types of sensations I can remember. And even smells, like when we would have new cousins or new aunties or uncles come to the U.S., the way how they would smell would take me back to Liberia and take me back to, you know, a memory that I thought I had lost, but all of a sudden it's there again, because it is true, like what they say, scent is the strongest sense tied to memory, is your sense of smell. It can really transfer you from one place to a place that you've been before, or maybe even somewhere that you've never been, but will, you know, go to in the future. So that is the story of how I came to America in 1992 as a 6-year-old girl. And yeah, I remember when we came to the U.S., like my mom, she worked very hard. She was a single mom. She did the best that she could. I mean, she did better than the best that she could, because my mom is amazing. And I just recently posted a tribute to my mom. If you want to read it, it's on my Facebook page called Sincerely Mrs. Griffin. And I posted a picture of her there too. If you're not following me on Sincerely Mrs. Griffin on Facebook, head over there and you can follow me there. But I just thought I would just sit down and share a little bit about my background and my history and how we came to the U.S. as immigrants in 1992 from the war-torn country of Liberia. I hope you guys have enjoyed hearing my short story. And also, I hope you subscribe to the channel. We're super close to 300 subscribers. So if you're not subscribed already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and join the Sincerely Mrs. Griffin family. We would love to have you guys come along to talk about all things curly hair, low carb cooking, ministry life here in Northwest Florida. And I'm also on other social media platforms like Instagram and Facebook with the same name, Sincerely Mrs. Griffin. I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.